On April 22, 2025, tragedy struck the heart of Kashmir. A horrific terrorist attack ripped through the serene landscape, leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. The attack, which primarily targeted Indian tourists, resulted in the loss of 26 innocent lives. The world watched in horror as images of the carnage spread, a stark reminder of the ever-present threat of terrorism. India, reeling from the attack, pointed a finger at its neighbor Pakistan. The Indian government accused Pakistan of harboring the militant groups responsible for the attack. The Indian government, facing immense pressure from a grieving nation, decided to respond with force. On May 7, 2025, Indian fighter jets soared across the border, launching airstrikes on suspected terrorist camps within Pakistan. This marked a significant escalation in the already tense relationship between the two nuclear-armed neighbors. The world held its breath, fearing a potential powder keg igniting. The Indian government was quick to label these strikes as focused, measured, and non-escalatory, emphasizing their commitment to minimizing civilian casualties. They stressed that the strikes were not aimed at the Pakistani people or its military, but solely at the terrorist infrastructure operating within its borders. However, the line between surgical strikes and an act of war can be perilously thin. India's justification for the strikes rested on the assertion that Pakistan had long turned a blind eye to terrorist groups operating within its borders. These groups, India argued, enjoyed safe havens in Pakistan, using them as launch pads for attacks on Indian soil. The April 22nd attack, in India's view, was a direct consequence of Pakistan's inaction and unwillingness to crack down on these militant groups. The strikes, therefore, were presented as a necessary measure to dismantle the terrorist infrastructure and prevent future attacks. India emphasized that the strikes were not an act of aggression, but rather an act of self-defense. They argued that every nation has the inherent right to protect its citizens from external threats. By providing safe havens to terrorists, India argued, Pakistan had become complicit in their actions, leaving India with no choice but to take decisive action. India also highlighted the precision of its strikes, claiming that they had successfully targeted only terrorist camps and infrastructure, while taking precautions to minimize civilian casualties. They released satellite images and videos, purportedly showing the targets before and after the strikes, aiming to bolster their claims of accuracy and limited collateral damage. Pakistan reacted to the Indian airstrikes with fury and condemnation. They denied any involvement in the April 22nd attack and labeled the Indian strikes as an act of war. Pakistan also claimed that they had shot down several Indian fighter jets and captured a pilot, though these claims were disputed by India. The international community watched with anxiety as tensions between India and Pakistan escalated. The United States, China, Russia, and several other countries urged both sides to exercise restraint and engage in dialogue. The United Nations called for an immediate de-escalation of the situation, fearing a wider conflict in the region. The United States, caught in the middle of its complicated relationships with both India and Pakistan, found itself in a diplomatic tightrope walk. While acknowledging India's right to self-defense, they also urged Pakistan to take concrete steps to address the issue of terrorism emanating from its soil. The US offered to mediate between the two countries, hoping to prevent the situation from spiraling further out of control. The recent crisis between India and Pakistan has once again brought the long-standing Kashmir dispute to the forefront of global attention. The region, claimed by both countries, has been a flashpoint for conflict for decades. The presence of a large Muslim population in Indian-administered Kashmir has further fueled tensions, with Pakistan often accused of supporting separatist movements in the region. The recent escalation of tensions underscores the fragility of peace in the region and the urgent need for a lasting solution to the Kashmir issue. While both India and Pakistan have shown a willingness to engage in dialogue in the past, progress has been elusive. The international community has a crucial role to play in facilitating dialogue and confidence-building measures between India and Pakistan. A peaceful resolution to the Kashmir dispute is not only essential for the stability of South Asia, but also for global peace and security. The alternative, a full-blown conflict between two nuclear-armed nations, is too catastrophic to contemplate.